Good morning. Welcome back to our daily cafe chat. I'm Emily.
And I'm Lisa. Happy Sunday, everyone. Welcome to March.
March 1st, 2026, a brand new month and a perfect lazy Sunday morning.
I love Sunday mornings so much. I woke up and just sat with my coffee for like 20 minutes doing nothing.
That sounds heavenly. I actually went for an early walk. The air already smells a little bit like spring.
Ooh, I can picture that. Okay, I'm officially excited for this month. What do we have today?
Today, we have a fun lineup. First, Fox is rebooting Baywatch, and 2,000 people showed up to audition in swimsuits.
2,000 people in swimsuits at the same time?
At the same time. Second, Waymo just started testing self-driving cars in Chicago, but here's the catch. The cars still have human drivers inside.
Self-driving cars with drivers? That seems a little contradictory.
And third, an olive oil farmer revealed the one and only correct way to store your olive oil, and most of us are doing it wrong.
Oh no! I just reorganized my kitchen this weekend, and I bet I did it all wrong.
But first, if you are new here, welcome. Every day, we turn real-world news into a casual 10-minute cafe chat to help you build natural English skills.
No boring textbooks, just two friends chatting over toffee and having a good time.
It is perfect for listening and shadowing practice. Hit subscribe so you can join us every single day. Now, today's keyword is iconic.
Iconic, like when people say, that outfit is so iconic.
Exactly. It means something so famous, so recognizable, that it becomes a symbol of its era or category.
Ooh, I use that word all the time, like pizza is iconic.
My favorite hoodie is iconic. Everything is iconic to you. Let's see how it connects to today's stories. Let's start with our first story. Fox is rebooting the classic TV drama, Baywatch.
Baywatch, the one with the lifeguards running in slow motion on the beach?
That is the one. Arguably one of the most iconic TV shows of the 1990s.
The red swimsuit, the slow-mo run, the dramatic rescues, absolutely iconic.
And to find new talent, they held a massive open casting call in Los Angeles.
How massive are we talking?
2,000 people showed up at the Marina del Rey Marriott to audition.
2,000? That is not a casting call. That is a music festival.
And here's the best part. Everyone was in their swimsuits. Red Speedos, bikinis, the whole deal.
2,000 people standing outside in swimsuits in February in weather that was 50 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 10 degrees Celsius. Not exactly beach weather. And they still went? That is dedication or insanity. Maybe both.
It gets better. Some of the contestants were doing slow-motion running into the ocean.
No, please tell me you are joking.
Not joking at all. The Baywatch slow-mo run is so iconic that people were recreating it during the audition.
That is simultaneously the most embarrassing and the most amazing thing I have ever heard.
One guy was jogging to the lifeguard tower in nothing but red underwear, cupping his, well, you know.
Oh my gosh, in front of 2,000 people?
In front of 2,000 people and the casting directors.
You know what? I respect that confidence. Like, go for it.
A 20-something man, a middle-aged woman doing scissor kicks in the parking lot, all ages, all body types.
I love that. It's not just young models. Real people showed up with a dream.
And the dream is very specific. The next David Hasselhoff, the next Pamela Anderson.
Those are big shoes to fill, or big swimsuits to fill, I guess.
The original show ran for over a decade and was watched in 140 countries.
140 countries? Baywatch was a global phenomenon.
It really was. And certain images from that show became truly iconic. The red swimsuit, the lifeguard tower, the California coastline.
So basically, Fox is trying to recapture something that defined an entire era of television.
Exactly. And the fact that 2,000 people are willing to stand in 10 degrees weather in swimsuits tells you how powerful that image still is.
The Baywatch brand is so iconic that people will literally freeze for it.
That's Hollywood for you. Dream big, show up in a Speedo, and hope for the best.
Honestly, I kind of wish I had been there just to watch.
Moving on to our second story. Waymo, the self-driving car company owned by Google's parent, Alphabet, just started testing in Chicago. Waymo in Chicago? That is a big deal. So, are people already riding around in robot taxis? Not yet. Here is the important detail. The cars are still being driven by human drivers right now. Wait, self-driving cars with human drivers? That kind of defeats the purpose, doesn't it? It does sound contradictory, but this is the first phase. They call it mapping and early data collection. So the cars are basically just learning the streets. Exactly. A limited fleet started mapping roads east of I-90 from the South Loop up to Wrigleyville. South Loop to Wrigleyville, that actually covers a pretty big chunk of the city. And a reporter from Block Club Chicago spotted about a dozen Waymo cars in a downtown parking garage.
A dozen? That is more than I expected for a first test.
Now, here's where it gets complicated. Illinois does not currently have a law allowing fully autonomous vehicles.
So Waymo cannot let the cars drive themselves even if they wanted to?
Right. State Representative Com Buckner introduced a bill, HB 4663, that would create a 3-year pilot program. It would allow a limited number of autonomous cars in large counties like Cook County as a test.
Makes sense. Start small, prove it works, then scale up.
But not everyone is excited about it. Labor groups are pushing back hard.
Let me guess, they're worried about job losses?
The Illinois Drivers Alliance, which is linked to Uber driver unions, said autonomous cars threaten to displace thousands of workers. That's a fair concern. Thousands of people drive for a living in Chicago. And safety is another worry. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration opened a probe into Waymo last year. What happened? Their cars were reportedly not stopping around school buses. Waymo ended up recalling the software. Not stopping for school buses? That's terrifying. And in San Francisco, a Waymo car struck and killed a beloved bodega cat named Kit Kat. No, not the cat. That is so sad. It even led to temporary service suspensions during a power outage later that year. So the technology is impressive on paper, but there are still real risks. Exactly. Waymo says their cameras and sensors make the cars safer than human drivers overall. I mean, that might be true statistically, but those individual stories really shake your confidence. You know what's interesting, though? Chicago itself is an iconic American city for driving. Lakeshore Drive, the expressways, the taxi culture. If Waymo can work there, it can work almost anywhere. That's true, and it would be pretty iconic if Chicago became the first Midwest city with robot taxis. Right now, it's a classic case of innovation moving faster than regulation. Chicago wants the tech, but also wants guardrails. Guardrails, literally and figuratively. I see what you did there. Finally, our third topic today. An olive oil farmer from California just shared the one and only way you should store your olive oil.
The one and only way? This sounds serious. I keep mine right next to my stove.
That is actually one of the worst spots you can choose.
Oh no, of course it is.
Mary Morey, a farmer at California Olive Ranch, explained that olive oil has 4 enemies. 4 enemies? Olive oil has enemies? Air, heat, light, and your refrigerator. My refrigerator? I thought cold was supposed to keep things fresh, not olive oil. Here is the thing. Unlike wine, olive oil does not get better with age. Wait, really? I always assumed it just sits there and stays fine forever. Nope. It has a shelf life of about 18 to 24 months, and once you open the bottle, Mary says you should use it within 1 to 2 months. 1 to 2 months? I've definitely had bottles open for way longer than that. And that's when oxidation starts to kick in. Air gets inside and the flavor breaks down.
So what about those cute glass dispensers people use? The ones with the pour spout?
Terrible idea, according to Mary. The pour spout lets air in constantly, which accelerates the degradation.
But they look so pretty on the counter.
Pretty, yes, but quietly ruining your olive oil every single day.
Okay, that hurts. What about heat?
Olive oil needs moderate temperature. Keeping it next to the stove is a problem because heat makes it go rancid. And if your oil is in a metal tin, it's even worse. Metal conducts heat really well.
So no stove, no cute glass bottles, no metal tins near heat. What about the fridge?
That's actually the trickiest one. Cold does not destroy the oil, but it changes it.
How so?
The oil can crystallize in the fridge, and when you bring it back to room temperature, a lot of the flavor ends up in the sediment at the bottom.
So the good stuff separates out and you lose it?
Yes, and that sediment can actually cause the oil to go rancid faster.
Okay, so we've eliminated the stove, the counter, the fridge, and cute containers. Where on earth do I put it?
Mary says the answer is simple. A cabinet or a pantry. Dark, cool, and sealed in the original tinted bottle.
The original bottle, that dark glass one it comes in.
Yes, the tinted glass is designed to block light, and the factory seal keeps oxygen out.
So the best thing to do is just leave it alone in a dark spot and stop trying to be fancy.
Exactly. You know, it's funny because those iconic glass olive oil dispensers you see in cooking magazines are actually the worst option.
The most iconic kitchen accessory is the most harmful one. That's such a twist. When it comes to olive oil storage, simplicity isn't just best. It's the only option. I'm literally going home after this and moving my olive oil into the pantry.
Swimsuit auditions, self-driving cars with drivers, and olive oil secrets. What a way to start March.
And they all had something really interesting in common today.
Oh, what connects Baywatch, Waymo, and olive oil?
Each story featured something truly iconic being challenged or redefined. Baywatch's iconic slow-mo run is being revived for a new generation. Chicago's iconic driving culture is being disrupted by autonomous vehicles. And the iconic glass olive oil dispenser turns out to be the worst way to store your oil. Wow, you always find the connections. So iconic things are not always what they seem. And that leads perfectly to our key word. Today's key word was iconic. It means something so famous and recognizable that it becomes a defining symbol. Like the Baywatch red swimsuit, or Chicago's Lakeshore Drive, or those gorgeous glass olive oil dispensers. In everyday life, you can use it for anything that instantly brings an image or feeling to mind.
My iconic thing? Sunday mornings with coffee.
Absolutely iconic in my life. Today's question for you. Which of today's 3 stories surprised you the most?
For me, it's definitely the olive oil one. I had no idea I was doing it so wrong.
Mine is the Baywatch casting call. 2,000 people in swimsuits in 50-degree weather. That is pure commitment.
Let us know your answers in the comments. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.
We're here every single day, 365 days a year. See you tomorrow.
Happy March, everyone. Go check where you're storing your olive oil.
Bye, everyone. I'm moving mine to the pantry right now.
Take care. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.